Arizona Wildcats 80 to the Oregon State Beavers 63. Um, I think because Ryan Anderson is the captain of the team of the U of A basketball team. Um, I think he is trying to increase his game or step up his game because um, in these last few games I've noticed that he has been getting more turnovers. Um, just specifically in this game, he had 4 turnovers. Um, uh, and the reason why I'm kind of bringing about turnovers right off the bat is because the U of A um, was kind of expected to beat Oregon State at McHale. Now, uh, U of A might have a harder time with Oregon State Beavers whenever they played Oregon State Beavers at Oregon State Beavers home court away for the U of A because the U of A games away are much harder um, usually for the Oregon or usually for the Arizona Wildcats and pretty much for any of the Pac-12 teams are more difficult whenever the games are away for the teams. But anyway, so the Wildcats, the U of A Wildcats had 13 turnovers in this game. And this is a game like that game against Washington State on Wednesday, tomorrow. Um, that game will also be the U of A needs to work on their um, their ball control and passing the ball and not getting so many turnovers and taking care of the ball and not in you know it would be really nice if the U of A could keep the amount of turnovers to less than 10 um, because 13 turnovers against the Oregon State Beavers is not very good. The Oregon State Beavers had 13 turnovers too, but remember this is away for the Oregon State Beavers. So you know whenever you're in unfamiliar territory and on an unfamiliar court, then you tend to turn the ball over a little bit more. Um, But so we had York that had 3 turnovers, and there was another guy that had 3 turnovers. I think it was Allen. Kadeem Allen had 3 turnovers. Kadeem Allen had 3 turnovers. So taking care of the ball is very important. It's one thing that's very important for the U of A. It's something that they definitely need to work on because taking care of the ball, that's one of the reasons why the U of A lost against Oregon. 19 turnovers against Oregon Ducks whenever we played against them on Thursday. So, you know, that's something that we definitely need to work on is taking care of the ball. As far as the defense, the person that had the highest amount of defensive breakdowns was Tarczewski with 6 defensive breakdowns. One of those defensive breakdowns was against Shaftenar. One of those defensive breakdowns was against Tinkle. Um, the 2 highest scorers for the Oregon State Beavers were Tinkle and Shaftenar. I think Tinkle had uh, 14 or 16, and Schaffner had 14, I think. Um, the thing about it is Schaffner made 4 out of 8 from three-point land, so he shot really, really well. I think Tinkle had 2 for 6 from three-point land, but this is another interesting that was kind of cool. York for the U of A Wildcats had 6 for 12 from three-point land, so he did exceptionally well um, from the three-point land. the the Oregon State Beavers um, shot 60 had 60 field goal attempts, while the U of A Wildcats had 50 field goal attempts. But at the same time, to balance it out, the U of A Wildcats shot 19 free throws as compared to the Oregon State Beavers, which only shot 8 free throws. So that was a big big thing in the U of A's favor, was all of those free throws. And whenever you boil it down with all those free throws, then you end up getting more pulling off more fouls on the Oregon State Beavers on the opposing team. I think the Oregon State Beavers had 17 personal fouls as compared to the U of A, which only had 13 personal fouls. I think there was one guy that had 4 personal fouls. I think it was it Tollefson or was it Anderson? I'm not quite sure. But anyway, back to Anderson. I think the reason, because he had 12 total rebounds in this game. 3 of them were offensive, and 9 of them were defensive rebounds. Nobody else from the U of A got more than 1 offensive rebound. I think we had a total of 5 offensive rebounds. 1 from Tarczewski and 1 offensive rebound from Tarczewski. Tarczewski had 6 defensive rebounds, and then we had, I think there was 1 offensive rebound from maybe Tollefson or Kadeem Allen. I'm not quite sure. Anyway, that's something that we need to be working on. See, I think Anderson, what he's trying to do is he's trying to grab from Tollefson, or grab those offensive rebounds, and whenever he does, then he sometimes he can't grab the ball sufficiently, and so he ends up turning the ball over, and that's why I think one of the reasons why he had 4 turnovers. Tarczewski had 3 turnovers, and Kadeem Allen had 3 turnovers. No, it was York that had 3 turnovers, and Kadeem Allen had 3 turnovers. So it's a little bit more understandable whenever your post players are getting turnovers, because they're trying to get those offensive rebounds. So I think Anderson is trying to step up his game, and whenever he's doing that, then he's actually causing more turnovers, getting called for more turnovers. So anyway, U of A had 26 points in the paint, or the U of A had 36 points in the paint as compared to the Oregon State Beavers, which had 26 points in the paint. I've heard of Chaffenauer before, and so I knew that we were going to have a little bit of a difficult time with Chaffenauer. Like I said, Chaffenauer had, I think he had 16 points as compared to Tinkle, which had 14 points. So I knew that we were going to have a difficult time with Chaffenauer from the Oregon State Beavers, but I didn't. We were able to somewhat contain Gary Payton the second. Last time I think we had a really hard time with Gary Payton the second. The last time we played them, so I think that was a big priority for Sean Miller, for the U of A Wildcats coach, was to try and contain Payton. So Payton only had 9 points. Let's see. Then we had 4. Tollefson had 4 defensive breakdowns. There was a couple times that Tinkle made a few shots, and then there was also a few times whenever Payton made a few shots right in the beginning. um, then I didn't get who was who what U of A was player was doing defensive was was on that was doing defense on Peyton, and why the U of A player was not able to defend against Peyton. And since Peyton, like I said, he's a good player, and I think that he's like 6'3", so he's a guard. So I would imagine that it was probably Allen, or maybe it was Parker Jackson-Cartwright that were defending against Peyton. And I think that maybe what Sean Miller did was he probably switched. If Allen was defending against Peyton, then he probably switched to have Parker Jackson-Cartwright defend against Peyton. Anyway, that's something that that was something that we were able to take care of and shut Peyton down somewhat. And so it wasn't, because in the first half it was only a 4-point lead. It was 34-30 in favor of the U of A. But then at the final, it was the U of A was up 80-63, and one of those the biggest reasons why the U of A was able to get things pull out to such a large lead was because York knocked down some three-pointers, some big three-pointers right there at the end, and Oregon State Beavers didn't have any answer for that. As far as having Comanche or Justin Simon or Ristic in there um, uh, playing more defense, because they only played a couple minutes. Most of them played only a couple minutes. Ristic played 13 minutes, but Simon and Comanche, I would think that you would want them to play more, because you would want them to get experience when defending against, well, just experience playing in the game and taking care of the ball, which I think is probably one of the most important things for the U of A right now is trying to take care of the ball as best as they can, making quick, sharp passes to one another, and being comfortable with each other. I noticed that Parker Jackson-Cartwright was knocking down a couple three pointers, 2 out of 3. So it's really nice to see Parker Jackson-Cartwright make a couple of 3-pointers. And one of them was a pass from Tollefson. So it's nice to see that Parker Jackson-Cartwright, he's feeling comfortable getting a pass from Tollefson and knocking that shot down. So anyway, defense is important, of course, and that's something that Sean Miller always harps on. So if U of A wins this game against the Oregon State Beavers, final score U of A Wildcats 80 to the Oregon State Beavers 63.